Some decisions feel powerful in the moment. But what happens when those same decisions come back in ways you never expected? As this stunning story unfolds, you'll witness how arrogance transforms into deep regret. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Danielle Brooks had been with Halston Dynamics for 3 years. 3 years of brutal late nights, of chasing perfection in every project, of picking up slack when others conveniently vanished. And yet, none of it mattered. Not to Charles Halston. He didn't see her effort. He didn't see the sleepless nights or the weekends sacrificed for the company. What he saw was a black woman in a position he believed she didn't deserve. The conference room was stifling with silence. Danielle sat across from Charles, her hands calmly folded in her lap, though her stomach churned. She had been summoned without explanation. She wasn't nervous. She had nothing to hide, but the smug tilt of Charles's mouth made her uneasy. "Danielle," he said, leaning back like he was settling into something he had been eagerly waiting for. "Let me get to the point. We're letting you go. Just like that. No build-up. No warning." Danielle blinked. "Excuse me." Charles sighed, shaking his head like a disappointed father. "It's just not working out. You're not a good fit." Her chest tightened. "Not a good fit? My performance reviews have been stellar," she said, voice calm though her heart pounded. "It's a business decision," Charles cut in, adjusting his tie. "Let's not make this difficult." Difficult? The word burned in her blood, but she refused to give him the satisfaction. She had seen the signs, the microaggressions, the way her ideas were repackaged by white colleagues and celebrated as theirs. Charles had talked over her, ignored her emails, dismissed her like white noise. And now this. "I see," she said, voice steady. "Is there a reason?" "The employee handbook requires cause for termination, unless—" Charles smiled a sharp, cold smile. "Things change. We're heading in a different direction." Danielle read the challenge in his eyes. He wanted her to push back, to fit the angry black woman stereotype. She refused. She turned to the HR rep seated in the corner, who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. "Coward. I'll have my desk cleared within the hour." Charles looked disappointed at her poise. "Good," he muttered. Danielle walked out with her head held high, pride intact, though fire burned within her. Whispers followed her as she packed her things. Some colleagues looked away. Others lingered with guilt or shame. Her closest co-worker, Jess, hovered near her desk. "I don't understand," Jess said, eyes wide. "You work harder than anyone here." Danielle gave a tight smile. "Guess I just wasn't a good fit." "Bull," Jess snapped. "Charles is a racist, and we all know it." Danielle let out a quiet laugh. "And yet no one says a word." Jess looked pained. "They don't deserve you." Danielle nodded. "No, they don't." As she passed Charles's office, she saw him scrolling his phone, utterly unbothered. She could have stormed in, shouted, called him out, but she didn't. Because the universe had a way of evening the score. And Charles Halston? He was about to learn that the hard way. Charles leaned back in his leather chair, satisfied. He had finally rid himself of Danielle Brooks. She was too sharp, too confident, too unwilling to play by his rules. She made him look bad without trying. Now, things could go back to the way he liked them. His phone rang. Unknown number. He debated ignoring it, but curiosity won. Halston speaking. A pause. "Charles, we need to talk." His breath caught. He knew that voice, even if it had been a while. "Ah, good to hear from you," he said, standing. "What's the occasion?" "I just got off the phone with Danielle." His gut clenched. "You fired her today." "Yes," he replied coolly. "The company's shifting direction." Long silence. "Do you have any idea what you just done?" Charles frowned. "I made a business decision." "You just fired the wrong person." Charles moved to close his office door. "I don't answer to anyone about personnel choices." "Don't be stupid," the voice snapped. "Do you know who Danielle Brooks is?" "She was a project manager." "Replaceable." A dark laugh. "She's my niece." The word struck like a hammer. "Niece?" "No, not him." "I didn't know," Charles stammered. "Oh, I know you didn't. Because if you had, you wouldn't have done something so monumentally foolish. But now? Now it's too late." Charles dropped into his chair, a chill creeping up his spine. You're making a mistake, he tried. No, you did. And trust me, Charles, you're going to feel it. The call ended. He stared at his phone like it might explode. Damage control. He needed damage control. He opened his laptop, searching for connections, influence, leverage. What he found made his blood run cold. A knock at the door. Jenna, his assistant, peeked in. Sir, you need to check your email. He opened his inbox. Subject line, statement from Danielle Brooks. The email wasn't internal, it was public. Every executive, every partner, every client. She had laid out everything. Toxic culture, discrimination, stolen ideas. She had evidence. Receipts. His world collapsed. The board saw it. Investors panicked. Clients privaient de contract. Employees shared their own stories. He wasn't in control anymore. Sir, Jenna said, trembling. The board called a meeting. Effective immediately. You're suspended as CEO. He laughed bitterly. They can't. They did. He scanned the letter she handed over. It was real. Who's taking my place? He asked. Before she could answer, his phone rang. Richard, the voice said, almost casual. How's your morning? Charles didn't reply. You're done. I built this company, he snarled. You had power. Now you're drowning. This is a witch hunt. No, this is consequence. You underestimated her. And now, she's rising while you fall. The call ended. He slammed the phone down. This wasn't happening. But it was. And the worst was yet to come. He sat alone in the shell of his office. Boxes half-packed. Whispers outside. No one feared him anymore. A knock. He looked up. It wasn't Jenna. It was her. Danielle Brooks stepped into the room. She looked calm, peaceful, and that enraged him more than anything. Danielle, he said, try to sound composed. She smiled. I wanted to see it for myself. See what? The fall of a man who thought he was untouchable. You think this is justice? He snapped. No, I know it is. You think you did this? I didn't, she said. Asterisk, you asterisk did this to yourself. And he knew it was true. Client vanished. Lawsuits mounted. The board forced him out. Danielle had been offered a leadership role. Not CEO. Not yet, but close enough to make it clear who they trusted. Must feel good, he muttered. She tilted her head. Doesn't feel bad. He hated her more than anyone. She turned to leave. One last thing, she said at the door. Do you know why you lost? He didn't answer. You thought power came from pushing others down. Real power comes from lifting others up. That's why you'll never have it again. She left, and Charles Halston's reign was over. Danielle Brooks' story was just beginning.